You know that feeling, right? The mere mention of an Ofsted inspection and that little shiver of dread that runs down your spine. Well, believe me, you are not alone. But what if I told you there was a better way? A way to be genuinely ready every single day, without that last-minute panic. Today we're going to look at how Kent Business College is doing exactly that, by shifting the focus away from paperwork and onto real-world impact.
Okay, so let's start with a scene that I'm sure is all too familiar to many of us in education. That feeling when you know an inspection is just around the corner. The call comes in, or the letter lands on your desk. Ofsted is on the way. And for so many of us, that one word triggers an immediate, almost primal response. And it's a mad dash, isn't it? We're rushing to find files, print off reports, and pull documents together. It's this sudden scramble to gather evidence, as if it's something you could just assemble at the 11th hour. But here's the thing. That whole scramble completely misses the point of what an inspection is all about.
So if it's not just about a mountain of paperwork, what on earth are inspectors really looking for?
Look, they're not there to check out your filing system. They're there to understand the impact of what you do every day. The paperwork itself is secondary. What it represents is absolutely everything.
And this is where we get to the real heart of the matter. Evaluation isn't about collecting forms or writing reports. It's a discipline. It's about professional judgment. Inspectors are there to evaluate how we use our systems, to truly understand the apprentice experience, and to drive genuine improvement.
And this next idea is a complete game changer, really. It reframes the whole thing. Evidence isn't something you create for an inspection. It's just the trace left behind when you're busy doing your job well. It's the natural result of running a great provision.
So once you get that, your whole focus just shifts. You stop thinking about last-minute prep and start living by 3 core principles. Focusing on the actual impact you're having, not the paperwork you're producing. Relying on solid systems, not just cherry-picking a few good examples. And building a culture of continuous improvement, not just ticking compliance boxes.
Right, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like day to day? Let's walk through a few realistic scenarios here at KBC to see how this all works in practice.
So, imagine this everyday scenario. A coach is having a routine progress review with an apprentice and notices they're starting to fall behind a bit, maybe seem a little disengaged.
Now at KBC, a progress review isn't just a tick box exercise. It's designed to be a diagnostic tool. The coach uses it to dig a bit deeper, to try and get to the root cause. Is it a workload issue? A confidence knock? Something else entirely? Suddenly, that bit of paper becomes a living, breathing tool for change.
And there you have it. That's the natural evidence trail right there. The process itself creates the proof. You've got the review where the barrier was spotted, the action plan that was built with the apprentice and employer, and then the next review showing that things are back on track. And the best part? We haven't created a single extra document for Ofsted. We've just done our job and supported our apprentice. Or how about this one? An employer mentions in a regular catch-up that their apprentices could really do with some extra training on a new piece of industry software.
Because we have systems in place to actually listen to that feedback, the curriculum team can take that on board, adapt the relevant module, and a few months down the line, we see apprentices using those new skills at work. The meeting notes, the updated plan, the better performance, again, the evidence just creates itself.
You see, when this becomes your normal, day-to-day reality, it completely changes the game. An inspection stops being this terrifying audit and becomes something else entirely, a professional conversation that you're ready to have any day of the week.
So, picture the scene. An inspector sits down with one of our coaches and asks the question like this, about something that can be tricky to measure, like professional behaviors.
The coach doesn't panic. They don't have to rack their brains for an answer. They can just calmly explain the system they use every single day. They talk about how our review process is structured to have that exact conversation every single time, so we can see that development over the long term.
And it's exactly the same for something as critical as safeguarding. An inspector wants to understand our culture of safety, not just see our policy document.
And again, the answer isn't about a policy gathering dust on a shelf. It's about a living process. A manager can talk about how the safeguarding team is proactive, how they look at data for trends, and how they step in early to manage risk. It shows that we have a living, breathing system of care.
Now, it's really important to get this. These examples aren't just one-off lucky moments. They're the result of a deliberate, college-wide approach to quality that is woven into the very fabric of how we operate.
This is what that strong evaluation actually looks like when the wheels are turning. It's about having simple, regular meetings where everyone is looking at the same data. It's about proactively sampling the experiences of our most vulnerable learners. It means making sure every weakness we find has an action, and we always check back to see if it worked.
And that, right there, is the fundamental difference. Weak evaluation looks busy. You're filling in forms, you're having meetings, but nothing really changes. It's like being busy but having no one steering the ship. But strong evaluation, that's what we call a closed loop. Information leads to insight leads to action, and you always follow up to check the impact.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together. If you take one thing away from our chat today, let it be this.
The big takeaway here is that Ofsted readiness isn't some project you do before an inspection. It's simply the outcome of our daily commitment to our apprentices. When our focus is on running things well, on being honest about where we can improve, and on actually acting on what we find, we're not just getting ready for Ofsted, we're doing our job. And that way, we're ready. Not just on inspection day, but every single day.